If you've just joined us, welcome to it. It is 20 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to African Diaries. We are still in conversation with Willem Goos, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, and we are looking at AI. And I suppose we've been talking about the current problem. Right, we've looked at it, just given it an overview of kinds, right? Looking at usage, accessibility, that 110 million people who have access to the internet but don't use it. Mm-hmm. And then off air, we spoke about something even more interesting, which is people seeing the value of AI, of the internet as a whole. Talk me through that again, please.
So why people aren't using the internet is they have a low perceived value of it. Mm. How would you describe the value of the internet to a grandmother? What is she going to gain out of it? So a lot of people look at it, I'm in a rural area, what will this do for me? Not much.
Sure.
And the literacy, the digital literacy is also very low. People don't know how to use the technology. And then somebody who doesn't know to use the technology gets scammed, and then that runs through the whole village, and then everybody like, we don't use this. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
But we need to get this right. How much, that's why I do my training in townships. People don't come to where we do training, we go to where they are. Because people don't realize the cost of leaving township and going looking for work. People think, oh, you should go look for work. Yeah, but I need $150 for the day to go and do that. Taxi, food, printing, everything else. Now, if I can do that remotely, if I'm a farmer, if there was one buyer for my crop in the town, now through the internet I can find maybe 3 or 4 others, get a better price. But also e-government services, telemedicine. Telemedicine is beautiful. I mean, they even developed, and this is 2 years old, how I can measure your heartbeat through your camera on your phone. So all of that's there, and it could save a lot of money, create a lot, because the World Bank estimates if we have universal internet access in Africa, it will increase the GDP of Africa by 2% per annum. That's how big that is. Because it's awakening the trade. Now imagine that 710 million people not using it. Now you're getting 50% of them to use it. And they start doing trade, and they're doing business through it. Because even if you just buy something from an online store, you're trading. You're stimulating the economy.
Yeah. Willem, are we presenting real solutions to Africans? Because the point you make there about a grandma who's in a particular inland, and she's saying to herself, but this is no value to me. My gauge or understanding is that we're telling her about how AI can make 3D cinematic videos, and she has no business wanting to deal with that, right? Because her consumer base isn't necessarily looking for a video. They've built trust in the business because she speaks to them. So are we really presenting solutions that speak to Africans through the use of AI?
I think there's a lot of misconception about AI, is that it will be the front line of your business and everything else. And the latest report just showed, I think, 80-something% of AI implementations have failed, okay, of Gen AI. And this was a McKinsey report, but this is mostly based on US businesses.
Okay.
Because you have to realize that it does the heavy lifting for you. So let's take it away from the front of the shop and move it to the back of the shop. If it can start predicting your stock levels and help you manage your stock and tell, listen, go and look at this, look at these things. Or it goes out and it finds you buyers for your product. It's a good use of that type of stuff. But, as a grandmother, I look forward to the age of AI for the elderly. because now you can have a conversation with it.
Mm.
And especially if robotics come in, now we can have elder care that really helps.
Yeah.
And that's so important. But yes, getting back to the usage. It's about the digital literacy that we need to have. Now, education around the world struggles. Like I was saying to a bunch of professors at UNESCO, I said, information is not the problem. Because if that was the case, then YouTube and the internet would have unlocked human potential a long time ago, and it has not.
Yeah.
That's a big snag that we have. People are not driven to go out and find their own solutions. That is a big issue that we have. Resourcefulness is out of the people of Africa. We have the resources, but we're not being resourceful with it.
Sure.
And that's why entrepreneurial thinking is so important.
Let's talk how we can use entrepreneurial thinking to repurpose. I don't want to say repurpose, to guide us back to that resourceful thinking. Okay. Right. With the use of AI. I don't want us to leave the AI chat because I think that people have access to chatbots that can give them almost anything. But like you said, they don't know what to ask. The literacy, the intelligence isn't there. So how do we frame our thinking so that we can mechanically get what we need from these bots, from these platforms, these engines to help us become those entrepreneurial thinkers?
You have to ask yourself, is this AI my thought leader or my thinking partner? If you just give it something and it outputs and you copy and paste, then it's your thought leader. It's in control. You are not. So how do you use it as a thinking partner? And the important thing about entrepreneurs, although it's a lone wolf type of mentality and it's a lonely journey, no entrepreneur has ever achieved anything by themselves. They do it through people. And this time you can have it through people, through resources, through machines, through equipment, through AIs. And you have to use it as a thinking partner to help you move forward with whatever you want to do. It's simply a tool that can help you, but you need to instruct it and use it as such, not be a slave to it.
I want us to stay with the human being because if we look at corporations, institutions, government, this is a crop of people, a set of people. So we're going to focus on the individual. Let's talk about people who are scared of AI. I'm scared. This thing's coming to take my job. My employment is gone, or I feel like it's going to lie to me, or it is not equipped with African knowledge, which is to an extent sort of true. For example, if you look for yourself on AI, if you go to a chatbot and you say, who is Willem Goos? If you do not have enough publications that are out with information about you, it's going to give you what it thinks you are. Right? It's going to fabricate something for you. And people use that and sort of plummet into that and say, I'm not touching this thing. Very exposed to technology, well within the right to use this tool to benefit them. But they're scared. What would you say to them?
That's a very good question because there's a report that came out last year and it showed people who barely use artificial intelligence, about 24% of them are scared, compared to 46% of people who are regular users are more scared because they notice the capability of it. Okay. So you have a choice. You can fear it, but that mostly comes from a perspective that you're in a race against it. You will lose that race because it learns faster, thinks faster, it's just faster than you. And that's why don't see yourself at the starting line of a 100-meter race. See it as a partner to you. So this is a good question that you can ask in all areas of life. How might I use this artificial intelligence to study better? How might I use this to find better business ideas? Not new business, better business ideas. And that's why how you interact with it. And when you spoke about the hallucinations and it's lying to you, well, it was designed to be always give you an answer. So I instruct mine.
Yeah.
If you're less than 70% sure, just say, I don't know. And then it will go like, I don't know. I said, fine. How might we find sources for that? Where might we find sources? It goes like, well, we can go look at these and these. And then I go and take a look and I find places and go like, I found something, or it finds something, and let's unpack that. So it's also, I think the great thing about artificial intelligence is because now we have to learn to speak to machines. Now we're going to learn how to speak to human beings again.
Oh, that is so important. Oh, that is such a great point. That is. Do you think that people generally are not articulate enough about themselves, about their space, about their situation?
Yes, it doesn't give context. You know, Shayla, it's like me. Let's say we're in a relationship. I go like, I'm unhappy.
Why did you do that face?
I don't know. I think
Okay.
I've watched too many rap videos.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna go like, about what? Tell me. There's no context. So people go like, write me an email to my boss. About what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just like I have to give you context. So I will come to you and say, Shayla, I was in town central the other day. And I was walking down the street, and there was this trader there, and you wouldn't believe what there. So I give you the context. And then I tell you about the interaction, and then the output that I got from that interaction. And what I wish I could have gotten or would have happened, or maybe it was just funny. And the same thing there is how you speak to it. Is you have to tell it what it needs to be. You have to give it context, give it examples, and then ask it what to do. And a great thing that I add to the end of every prompt that I give to an artificial intelligence is, if you have any clarifying questions, ask one at a time. Or I force it. Ask me 5 clarifying questions before you give me an output. And it will come up with perspectives. Wow, I did not think about that. Because that brings us to what AI really stands for. Not artificial intelligence. Augmented imagination.
Oh, wow.
I like that. But that's a choice. And you have to use it as such.
I think let's explain augmented imagination just a bit more. What is that?
So because artificial intelligence has access to the world's knowledge and perspectives and things like that, if I have an idea, I can expand on that idea with it. So now I have a thinking partner. It's like you and your friend having a glass of wine and go like, I'm thinking about this. Wow, yeah, how can that work? Yes, what if you do that? Oh, that's a good idea. And then you can add that and the idea grows. You remember those conversations. They are the best. So why not have that conversation with an artificial intelligence? It's there to enlarge, accelerate, and grow what's already there. I can't tell you how much potential people have, but they're blind to it because the eye cannot see the eye. But when I start working with it, it can help me bring that out.
And finally, just as a futuristic view, if you will, do you think, and I suppose perhaps it's not do you think, because I do believe you think so, what do you see forecasted for the next 5 years with respect to the African continent, the integration of AI and the correct use of this augmented imagination?
I have more of a negative view.
Let's hear it though.
If I look at, so I do keynote talks at businesses, specific keynote titled Outlearn and Out-Earn Your Competitors. So I teach their staff. So everybody's in the keynote, from the cleaner to the managing director. And I teach them entrepreneurial thinking. And usually I'll say, raise your hand if you've never heard of artificial intelligence. And usually about, say, a quarter of people would go like, what's this? And then I ask, raise your hand if you've never used it. And then about half of the room goes up. And they're like, I have no idea. And then I fire up ChatGPT and I start talking to it. And they go like, oh, what sorcery is this? And Sipiwe answers, what is this? And I go like, say hello to Sipiwe. And they go like, hey Sipiwe, how are you doing? What do you? And you're like, what? So people don't have, they haven't experienced it. They're not exploring it. And that's why I have a negative view, because if I look at my entrepreneurship development work that I do in townships, people have access to all the knowledge in the world already through YouTube and the internet, but they don't use it. So now I'm going to have access to 1 million Einsteins in my pocket. It's the difference between those who choose to use it or not.
Sure.
And I'm concerned because we're not being resourceful with it.
Sure. Willem, will leave it there for today. The voice of Willem Goos, who is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, joining us this evening. It is 36 minutes after 11 p.m. Central African time. Share your thoughts, your views. This live feed will continue until the top of the hour. For now, let's get some music.
Africa's heart beats one story at a time on African Diaries with Shayla.